Excellent. What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey, and I am Shakira. Happy Sunday, y'all. Hope everyone's doing well. I know this is impromptu and probably nobody saw my message. I've been sick, so I didn't manage to schedule anything or anything like that. But I do, I am, my brain is still going on and on about what I could have done better from last week's trading. So it's time to do some reviewing. I'm just getting set up in my Think or Swim for the on-demand testing for last week. the the one thought that I had from last week's trading is, why didn't I go with the trend? I don't know why. I was so focused on taking the setup that I just did not think through the entire thing, like the entire process. Like, we are going up, like straight up just going up. Why wouldn't I just look for longs? So I spent most of the week, I didn't trade a ton, honestly, and I did trade my model, but it was in the wrong direction, which, as we all know, doesn't work out for most people when they do that silliness. So it's not gonna be as long of a session as I had last week because I am dealing with like some version of a head cold, body aches, and I've been holding it at bay with vitamin C, echinacea, and a tincture that is amazing. But I haven't actually like hit a point where it's taken over fully, but I did end up sleeping like literally all of yesterday. So, and was in the bed most of yesterday too, but unlike feeling really, really craptastic, I managed to not feel as terrible as I could have. So, that's a win, in my opinion. So, this is more of a reminder to myself and an update to my notes that I need to stay focused on the higher time frame trend and trade accordingly based off of that. All right, so given that we figured out last week that uh, there are specific times where we can try and trade in the on-demand space and be able to use the buy and sell options that I have will work with that. So yeah, definitely low energy. Honestly, like I've taken care of the kitties and I feel like I need to um go back to bed, which is weird, but I want to do this review. So let's dig into my journal here and let's start with, actually, let me share my calendar that I fill out every week with my wins and losses. So I didn't trade on Monday. So this is I guess I should add I'm taking a screenshot, so I should probably add the August so it's apparent that this is for August. All right, let me grab that screenshot and plop it over here. Okay, and before I switch over to my Thinkorswim, I'll just share the calendar on, let's get that tiny. I'll share the calendar on my trading view here. So last week, I don't know how you guys feel, but the weeks have felt like they just sort of came and went. so fast, so fast. Like I didn't really, it almost felt like I didn't even get to live the week, you know? It's crazy. Anyway, um, so you can probably see, just make this a little bigger from my screenshot and make sure it's showing on the OBS. Okay. Uh, we had one loss on Tuesday, no trades Monday. I took a short on Tuesday and it dropped to about three something and then, they wanted to go up. It was a very bullish week. Thursday, I took three trades in the morning, which was ridiculous because and I'll show you all of these trades that I took. But and then Friday I took one trade in the morning, and that was the end of that. But yeah. Anyway, let's switch over to the Thinkorswim on demand window here. Make sure I am small in this space. I hear tinkle bells, so kitties are. Oh, Kitty has arrived. Hi, Maddie. What are you doing? You come in and hang out? So, doesn't look like my window has changed on this. Let me see here. Okay, so it's just delayed. Okay, bye, Maddie. Sometimes she just randomly jumps on my lap and then just runs off. I don't really know. All right. We are going to take a look at Monday. I'm pretty sure I hear second Tinkerbells. Oh, I'm trying to. Okay, so let's go over what we were trading on Tuesday of last week. What day was that? The 5th. All right, so this is switched over. Let me make sure the streaming has switched over. It has not. Oh wait, why is my view further back? That's fascinating. Anyway, let's swap this out to August and let's take a look at Monday, the 4th, and let's do 9:45 since I don't look for anything beyond that time frame to trade. Let's go. So August 4th, and let me clean a lot of this stuff up here from my live trades. This is like all the stuff that I'm looking for on a general basis. So let's clean that up. And let's see what Monday had for us. Oh, kitties are making noises, man. Kitties are making noises. Okay, so let's zoom in here. I wish my P&L was actually that. That looks great. That's from the last back testing. I guess I need to reset the amount, but it's a nice feeling, so I'm just gonna let it be. So where are we? It's 9:30. We've popped up. It's on a 15-minute time frame. Let me just go through what I would have done. So duplicate. We've been dropping, and technically we're still bullish, but for whatever reason, I was very bearish this week. Can I duplicate? Okay. So there's some buy side taken there. Swap that out for buy side. I didn't take any trades on Monday, but I can't recall. I think I was just really busy, honestly. Let's duplicate that, and I would have been looking at that area as well to see. And my thoughts would have been, where is like London lows, which is down here. Hi, Kate. Hi, pretty girl. What you doing? Being beautiful? Getting your purr on? Hmm? You just came over to hang out and be a beautiful kitty with me? Hmm? All right, baby girl. All right. So, I think, yeah, Monday. No, I was sick. I had migraine on Monday. That's why I didn't trade. So Monday didn't actually have anything on my normal setup that I would have wanted. It just sort of ran. No, the other thing that I'm noticing, because we had a similar situation on Thursday, I think. So honestly, once it like ran through all of this, I would have wondered if they'd want to come back. And they've blown past it already. No, no, baby girl. No, not on my laptop. We're trying to work through that. I would have wondered if they'd want to come back down to this fair value gap and the order blocks there for a continuation up. Probability of that, in my opinion, at this point is kind of low, but NASDAQ has been known to just do whatever she wants. You know what I'm saying? Like she just does what she wants. No, baby girl, no laptopy timey. Mwah, mwah, mwah. No, you cannot walk all over my laptop. Oh, it's kitty man. Anyway, so if I had been interested in trading this, and actually, let's go take a look at some news. You're gonna go play with your sister? Off you pop. Bye. Kitties are fun. So, with all of this upside, you know, it's about nine something. I want to see if there's like a fair value gap they want to like respect. And actually, let's dip back into the 15-minute at this time. Something I need to get comfortable with doing and seeing if there is a fair value gap that we should be paying attention to as they run up. So we are, oh, we're at the top of this one. There's more above. Okay. My session got closed. I'm attempting, oh, I got kicked out. Okay. Let's switch to NQ, trading view. Looks like I think her swim is like having an issue. So I guess we're gonna have to do this back testing on trading view. I think they're doing maintenance, so I don't know for sure if we'll be able to use that, but that's fine. Let's swap back over to here and not worry about think and swim for today, since it did tell me that they were doing maintenance on it. Anyway, so let's nip over to let's nip over here. Actually, we'll use this view and go back to Monday. Chopped up, man. I don't think this is Friday. I didn't take anything on Friday evening. I took one short in the morning. I guess we can go backwards since I had to switch out here. So in the PM on Friday, I was thinking to myself, what if like, they're trying to run up and then maybe there's a sweep down here and a shift up. I didn't take it. Um, these are just like hypotheticals. And then a mini sweep here for an entry at the base of this order block, which I could have taken for a small when I was like, how far did we get from here? Yeah, a base hit what I consider a base hit anyway, is what we would have gotten here from this sweep. But I didn't take it. I just closed and went to sleep because I was just so not feeling great. And then in the morning, after they ran up, again, I'm not sure why I'm feeling like I don't know why I felt like I need to go short on a day like, on a week like this, where going long made the most sense. But I did follow, we swept a lot of liquidity. And this was the first real shift at that point, and I didn't want to miss it. So I took that with the express. Aw, there's buffeting. Such jurors will experience buffering. Okay, the stream health is not great. Okay, so maybe I'll end this since my. Let me just put a thing in the chat. Ending stream because the stream health was very poor. Well, no one's watching it, so might as well just continue, and hopefully the live settings at the end won't be so bad. Mm, don't know if this is gonna look good. But yeah, this is the short I attempted to take. Tapped in, and of course you can see I got taken out because it's very bullish day on Friday. And honestly, I was sitting in a call at uh just before 10 o'clock here, and I was looking at this fair value gap, and I said to myself, this, you know, August, I'm just going to take sweep shift enters. That's it, right? And I was looking at this and I was like, oh man, that'd be a great long, right? Because at the time I had buy side sorted out for, let me see, long. I had buy sides that I was considering for up to 670, like right there. So that would have been a good, like, what is that, 59 point setup for me. But I was in a call and distracted because I was like, oh, that's beautiful. They are absolutely respecting the fair value gap. And so I would have put it at like the midpoint of that wick. They've already tapped the order block here, so that would have been nice. And then I would have been like, okay, let's go to 670 and call it a day. And that would have been good. Done and dusted. But I don't know. I need to figure out how to trade while being distracted or working when I see the error message that I'm waiting. Not the error. Sorry, I'm looking at the stream. When I see a potential setup, especially on a day like Friday, where I was literally hoping they would take the lows out first. I was waiting for them to take this out first. But in hindsight, I'm just realizing that they'd already taken the London lows out here. Some sell side here. So they'd already taken the London lows out here. But I was expecting, actually, no, they hadn't yet. So I was hoping for them to take these lows out all the way down to here if possible. And then, roll back up and give folks a chance. I was hoping for our sweep down and take that and then a long to go up, but they didn't give that. So I'm starting to realize there's moments where the sweep's not gonna work and a continuation trade is the best option. So the stream health is still pretty terrible. I apologize. I hope you guys don't mind too much. I don't know. I really don't know what to do about fixing that with OBS. It's literally telling me YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Weird. In any case, so the stream status is pretty poor right now. Dang it. All right, well, let's continue for the moment. I was trying to do this on my Thinkorswim, but it's not staying on. I think because they're doing maintenance and maybe rebooting the systems and things. So we'll just have to do this the old-fashioned way. So this was the trade I was considering. So maybe what I should do, because a continuation trade in moments like this, when I see this sort of thing, is also an A plus setup, especially when you've got like um when we've got very strong uptrend in progress and they haven't taken the highs that I was looking for out. So perhaps the rules for August should be twofold. So one, take sweep, market structure shift, enter the trade. That's one A plus setup. And the second A plus setup is the continuation trade. And that's in a trending, it's in a trending market. No chopping, no nothing. The setup is like just up, 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 fair value gap. So continuation with FEG where they respect the 50%, the 50% mark, as we see here. Because that was a really good setup that I noticed. So yeah, I'm making small changes to my rules for August, but it's still it's still, better than waiting for exactly one type of entry. But I'm still going to be very, very meticulous about these because these are technically my A plus setup. The continuation trade is still a sweep shift, but second stage entry versus waiting for only the first stage entry. So I'm going to give myself a little grace on that one. So I'm going to update my journal, and I'm also going to also add a screenshot um, for this particular continuation setup. Because sometimes when they run away, they don't give you any opportunities. They don't even go into the fair value gap. They just run, run, run. That's fine. But it has to predicate on the fact that they haven't taken the liquidity above. That's what the second option is about. They haven't taken liquidity above. Okay. So those are the rules that I'm going to be living by for the remainder of August. And I need to add a little bit to this though. Go with the trend. I must follow the trend because last week I didn't. The week before I was following the trend, and that's why I, traded really well. That's the end of the week. I'm trying to move this. Why is that hard? So, trying to move. I can do that. Wow. Guys, okay, there we go. So, part of the rule is go with trend. If there's no trend, meaning it's just chopping. And when I say chopping, I mean like if I look at the 4 hour and it's just barcoding sideways, then most likely I probably won't get a good trade in for sure. So things as we go along, things to fine tune, not trying to overcomplicate it, just keep it simple. Go with the trend when I'm taking the sweep shift. Internal sweeps are okay to go with. Um, okay, so like this reconnecting stream, sorry, my current bit rate is slow, so they recommend that we use a stream bit rate of 68K. Honestly, I have no idea where I'm supposed to change that. Well, looks like we're getting a little bit better with the stream latency. Hopefully it stays that way. Sorry for it being a little choppy. Trying to figure out how to fix that. Anyway, all right, so just updating my notes as well. We're gonna go with the trend because that's what messed me up this week. So new rules. So go with trend only, and internal sweeps are acceptable. Sweeps are acceptable. Because if I'd done that last week, I would have been fine. Okay. All right. So those are the rules that I'll be following for the next week. By the way, just as an FYI, this is week 78 of my trading experience. I am currently about 1800 in drawdown, which is fine. I'm trying my best not to focus too much on the drawdown, but the setups, and just go with those and don't worry about the rest. It's like even on Thursday when I took too much. Let's make that a little smaller. Let's make that like a 20. When I focused too closely on the shift and sweep, I wasn't focusing on the higher time frame piece. So it really should be a threefold scenario where I confirm the higher time frame trend, which is odd because I was looking at the daily, the 4 hour and the 1 hour, but my brain just wasn't removing itself from the need to short for some reason. So something to work on. And with the new rules, if the trend is up, I'm going to look for opportunities to go long within my model. So this version that I saw is a continuation trade to go higher for me. And for an internal sweep, like I would have been looking for, that low to get taken, which they sort of kind of did, and then they swept up. Then they just chopped around during lunch on Friday. So I was honestly not interested in any of that. Just checking to see if there's any opportunity for a setup. Like I honestly, sometimes when they sweep and shift and they leave that, that's another like I consider this sort of a B entry. Why? Because of the fair value gap below here. Because my desire would have been to take the entry here in the hopes that they would come back into the fair value gap and then run. But sometimes, man, sometimes they just, form this run up and, keep going. So in other scenarios, I just, try to remember to take this instead. And look at that. Like they literally dug into the little imperfection here, just a small one. And that was at 350. Times when I'm absolutely not trading for sure. But the short that I considered after they internal sweep, after they swept that and gave me a little shifty shift here, I was considering a short here. But it doesn't look like I would have gotten tagged in. That's fine. I wasn't feeling up to it anyway. All right, so enough about hanging about on Friday. Let's dig into Thursday, where I really did hose myself. So I didn't take anything in the PM. I think I took everything in the morning. Let me double check my notes here. Let's take a look at my. Wait, I'm going backwards, so I can take a look at. So, yeah, let's see here. So we already talked about Friday. Let's look at Thursday. Yeah, I was trying to go long on Thursday. Why? So let me do a little replay. Select the bar and let's review what I did wrong up to this point. And then let's drop this to the 15-minute. So I'm pretty sure trying, I was, there was liquidity that had been taken here. Some sell side liquidity there. And then I would have also, let's clone that, would have also specced out this low here and then this one. Well, and then that one. So a bunch. So I was looking for a long and pretty sure I had this fair value gap specced out as well. And actually, I'm not mad at this first setup that I took because it worked. It basically was a scenario that I've seen play out and work really well in other spaces where they've taken the liquidity, we've shifted. So I took along right here, actually at the body of this, took along right there to go that way with my 37 tick stop. Obviously they wanted to continue down. So I'm not mad at that one because I'm trying my best to take the trades that I consider to be A plus in my setup. So I'm very happy. Why? Even though it was a loss, I was still happy with it. Why? Because I was expecting them to sweep the lows. They did. Then got a shift above this candle here on the 1 minute, and they hadn't filled in this entire fair value gap, which is kind of something that I'm looking for. And sometimes they stop at the base, they fill it entirely, stop at the base, and then go up and leave me a down close candle with space. And that's where I would get like a launch pad off from there. In this case, they didn't want to continue back up, but I basically got stuck into a chop zone. But after this big drop down, but I am pretty happy that I took that trade because it means the next time it comes and it's a good trade, then I'll be able to capitalize on a nice reversal because I would be looking for that high to get taken, maybe even that one. If there's a fair value gap up here, then I would like to run in and dig into that one as well. So good times. And then, so what I should have done after this is wait for them to take another significant, excuse me, low, and then go from there. So I sort of did. And I'm just pushing this forward. Some sort of did, but it wasn't in like the right place, in my opinion. Like this one, I absolutely stand by that trade. It's something I would have taken regardless. I've seen it work in the past, but like with any setup, it's not going to work 24/7. And, if we roll up into the 1 hour, like right now, they were just dropping, 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 right? And another thing I was considering is that they were coming into this um, order block. So I was hoping they would tap that and continue going back up. They obviously didn't do that for me anyway, but it's okay. So let's roll back into what I should have done better on these setups. My setup requires me to wait for a sweep of liquidity, a shift in structure, and then, enter. Because part of my problem at this point is the fact that I don't enter when I should. So regardless of the fact that I'm in drawdown right now, I've watched myself miss out on multiple juicy trades because I refused or I was unable to just enter into the trade. Anyway, so I took that, but then for some reason, I don't know why. This is after 11, and I shouldn't have been taking anything at this point, but I was still thinking about it. So my next potential setup that I thought was this guy right here. And honestly, because they formed at the top of this and they rolled up, I thought, maybe they're about to run off and leave it. So I took it here, and obviously I got stopped out. But then, in my infinite wisdom, for some reason, I usually don't do this, and I'm not really sure why this occurred, but I decided to take it to set my order here, and of course I got stopped out. So that's three trades in quick succession on Thursday in the morning outside of my normal window of trading. Well, this one was in my normal window, these two weren't. So I don't know what I was thinking. I shouldn't have even taken them. This is after 11. I usually wait until the PM at that point and then, you know, go take a better trade after that. Now, I started working and, well, continued working. So I don't know if the PM was a better time frame to trade after that. So let's drop to the 1 hour real quick. And let's clean this up a little bit. I'll just take a quick gander at the PM because technically it's still very bullish. It really was. So this is what? 11, so let's move forward. 12, 1. Okay, let's drop to a 15-minute. So the PM now, I don't know, would I have gotten something better? Let's see. They've already snatched up some good liquidity, and I'm just out of curiosity. Let's move this over here. Like I said, I did not trade this. This is just all hindsight. I'm just reviewing to see if what I'm found is that if I'm patient and I wait for what I'm supposed to be waiting for and the behavior I'm waiting for and the areas I'm waiting for it, I'll be rewarded. But sometimes, things don't work out the way you expected to. But anyway, so so here's another scenario. So this isn't as clean as I would like. So what do we have? We swept it kind of shallowly, and then we shifted. All of this is an order block, and they stayed at the top. So remember the other trade I took in the morning that didn't work out for me? This is exactly that. So I don't know if this actually worked out, but I would have gone for a midnight opening price, which is what this black line is right here, if I actually got in. So I don't know. Let's see. Because shift, no fair value gaps. They've wicked it, tapped it, and run away. So I'm absolutely. She's back. Hi, Maddie. I mean, the world stops for you, doesn't it, baby girl? It just stops for you. Just come over here and take a position and just do whatever you want. No, no getting on my lappy top. That's not what mommy does. Bye bye. Gotta love those like instant interruptions and then she's gone. Anyway, so this is a scenario I would have wanted to have taken. They've already wicked the base here, and they've shown the respect of this fair value gap on the top, so I would have taken that. Like, I would have wanted to take that. Like, I would have put the entry, once the shift occurred, I would have put the entry here and hoped for the best. And in the hopes that they'd want to go up that way. So there's no guarantee. So I would have been stopped out. So that candle, like, rude. What did they do? They rolled back to this guy. Man, that hurts my heart. That would have hurt my heart. But I would have taken it just like that. And then this looks like they're just barcoding. So yeah, it wouldn't have worked anyway, because we needed to see them blow past this. And technically, once they did this, they should have just run up. Fair value gap here that I wasn't paying attention to. Also, very strong downtrend in that day. So why on earth was I trying to go long in you should see this cat. I have a closet back here. So I went through and I cleaned it so I could close the door and she's literally jumping on the door crack trying to figure out how to get in. Cats are fascinating. Anyway, so that wouldn't have been an A plus because of the up close, the down close candle wasn't right there. But, I just honestly last week wasn't reading price well at all. At all. It was pretty bad last week. Some weeks I'm reading it like a champ, but other weeks it's just not great. But again, it is a setup that I would have wanted to have taken. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, because before, once it shifted, I would have put it at the top of this and probably been tagged in here. Now, I don't know how much it would have run up. I mean, that's more than enough for me to put my stop loss at break even or just above it to cover fees for that trade. And then I would have been stopped out here. And then I would have been like, well, it's not behaving the way it's supposed to. Like, what does this look like on a 5 minute? So I think what I should do, and it's a thought I've had, is wait for a 5 minute shift whenever we're in like a strong down trend or uptrend at any given point, because then I can confirm that the shift is correct, right? It's one thing when I'm just waiting for a sweep and then shift and then I can take the 1 minute. But when we've been dropping precipitously like this, then I need a 5 minute shift to actually confirm the change in the state, probably. So let's see if that occurs. I don't know if it does, but let's see if it did. So we're still going down. Plenty of liquidity down here, more all the way down here. This fair value gap in my mind is actually no longer viable for me, though the one below it, if I've been looking at the 5 minutes, and that's the problem. Sometimes you just miss things, you know? So I like to look for fair value gaps that have supported price before, and then if I'm bullish or whatever, then I can consider using those as the impetus for a continuation up. So this is basically things I missed last week when I was trying to trade. All right, so we have this one where we tapped it and ran off beautifully. We tapped it and pushed back up, tapped it, pushed back up. Now, does it blow through it is the question. So let's drop back down to the 1 minute. And then that would actually be a clean additional sweep through if it does. So all right. So now because it's so bearish, like another continuation option for me would have been a short from here. Though I would be somewhat nervous about this, but because this has held price up a number of times, then a continuation down might not seem so crazy at that point. But if I'm being completely honest, had I been considering a continuation down, and let me just say this, I vaguely recall thinking something similar. Where was it? At 115. Let's see here. I was considering something similar like this at 145. And part of the reason why I didn't take it is because sweep, shift, you know, is what I was thinking, right? But if I had adjusted my rules like I'm supposed to, which is take my two A plus setups in August, both of which require some sort of sweep shift, but the other option is sweep shift, take the entry at the order block, or fair value gap if they're respecting the first half of it, or the second stage entry after the shift. So they're both the same, but just different entry points. These cats are just doing their thing, man, just doing their thing. Anyway, so if I had been considering um a fair value gap where they're respecting it and not even rolling back into it, I might have taken the short at this. Look at this. Why? Just they're they're getting so big and they're jumping on everything. It's insane. And what are you looking at? Don't you dare jump over this monitor. Okay, just yeah, gotta watch her. She's extra. But if I had been considering like again going with the trend, which is what I was missing all of last week. Oh my God, both cats are now trying to get in the same space. Look at this. This one is Sasha, and she is trying to get up to Maggie, who is up there. You can see her right there. Why are we doing this, kitties? Why must we be on laptops? So many laptops, and you have to be on laptops. Maddie is minding her business, so I'm okay with that. Anyway, back to making adjustments for August to the rules. And the rules technically very simple. Wait for a sweep of liquidity, shift in structure, take the first entry. If you don't get that one and the second entry is more viable, second stage shift is more viable, take that. Simple. So kitties have run off. So if I had been considering the continuation down with all of the liquidity that's been taken, then I might have been interested in a short. Let's see, what would that have netted us? I might have been interested in a short right here. And only because my stop would have been just above the midpoint, we've wicked through it and we haven't really even come back to it. So I might have been interested in taking a short there to maybe dig into this fair value gap and fill it in. And that's it. Might. Not the best. But this is also reviewing all of the setups that I definitely saw and didn't take because I'm trying to take one A plus setup. But when you're going, you have to be going with this trend. It must go with the trend. So that's basically what I was missing last week. So if I had, let's go back in the morning here. So if I had followed the trend, right? What did it do first? This is, I think, what messed with me. It swept the highs, it swept the lows. At that point, I don't know where it's going. So I should have, waited to see what it did in either direction once it broke out of like that general space. So if I had, and it was very choppy. I don't know. Was there even a 5 minute like fair value gap for me to play with in that space? I don't think there was. It was very wicky. So it's hard for me to want to get in on a trade here. So, but the only fair value gap that was literally right next to a order block, and I didn't even realize it was this one. So if I've been considering the continuation option, so I'm trying to use the ones that form and then, aim for things below lows, fair value gaps, that sort of thing. So that I would be looking to maybe see if they wanted to blow through this guy for like a target and then the lows, or maybe even down to the midnight open because they like to go back to that for whatever reason. So I don't know, what would that have looked like for a setup? I mean, pretty decent. I would have been okay with that. So this is what I'm trying to adjust. Like I'm missing out on things. Missing out on things. Because then what did we have? So I'm looking at like, come on. What did we have? We had the continuation sweep. We had a shift above all of this. It swept it. If I go with the flow of with the trend, then I would have felt nervous about my stop, but it's above the midpoint. So I would have put my entry there and then oops, hit that. And then with the in the hopes that we would continue dropping to take the lows out. Now, I'm not gonna lie, once I hit the midpoint of this fair value gap and then tapped up, I would have been real unhappy about that. Watching it do that because nice drop, and then it rolled back up here. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I probably would have taken it at the midpoint just so I wouldn't have to deal with the stress of it all. Just dig in. Because sometimes they stop at the midpoint, but sometimes they roll through. So that would have been fine too. Because it is literally my model still, like, but in the downtrend. You know, they're continuing down, sweep, they're dropping, shift, swept all of that, respected this. Yeah. And even this would have been fine too as a second stage entry for that. And then, I mean, yeah. And then I would just be hoping and praying I get um, that. Move my stop into break even after it dropped nicely like that. Move my stop into break even, a little bit above there, and then just took my hands off of it. So it's the sort of thing that it's easy to see in hindsight, but last week I definitely wasn't. Um, I should have been considering taking a short. And this probably went down to the London lows or something, which is all the way down here for that day. So crazy. If that's the case, then I should have been up here thinking, okay, we swept the highs, which is what you want for a continuation lower. Sweep the highs and then, try and ride it down. And I'm not gonna lie, I remember thinking to myself, maybe I should take the short from here, but I didn't. Instead, I was trying to go long, like a silly bird. Here, here. Just not reading it right last week. That's all. All right, so let's dig into Wednesday. Let's go back. Let's reset. My thinkorswim just failed me. Honestly, it just failed me. So let's dig into Wednesday. Tuesday, Monday. Right, nice sweep down. All right, let's go 15 minutes and let's reset that. And what I should have been doing in the morning, because there was a lovely, so noting this fair value gap, not as strong because we've seen one tap into it and then a run up, but it did reject price nicely at one point, so not mad at that. And then let's see what we had in the morning, 9:45. Oh, it just dropped. Right. So this is one of those opportunities. So for some sell side liquidity right here, to get taken out for a continuation back up, honestly. And there's plenty more all the way down to here. I don't know if they want to go that low that day. Guess not. Hey! Yes, it was absolutely violated. I mean, this first. So I like when the fair value gaps have been tapped a couple of times, right? Like once it shows strength, another time shows some strength. Once, I sometimes in my mind think, especially if the fair value gap is really large, once it passes the 50% point and closes strongly, then potential for it to be fully filled is much higher, right? So, but it can be reclaimed as a inversion fair value gap after the fact, which seems to be what they did in the PM after that. But honestly, like once we've closed like this is what, the 15 minute? It definitely hurt my heart. I think I had a, hold on, and this is one thing I didn't take, which I think hurt me. I had this sell side liquidity that I was also looking at. So this is about 10:30. Let's take a look. So I'm trying to see, especially in moments where they just keep dropping, 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 if there's a fair value gap that I can use for as an entry. That would be very nice and helpful for me as a second stage, like continuation trade. Um, so let's see. Things I would have considered taking after the sweep, respect to the 50%. I would have considered taking this. Why? Because there's no fair value gaps down here. So I would consider this a propulsion block, take it in the hopes that they would want to run up. The question is, would my entry have been, yeah, my stop wouldn't have survived that. I mean, it would have given a nice little bump up, but this is so very not clean. Like for me, this I would consider this like a B entry personally. So it's not clean, so I wouldn't have taken it. But you know what would have felt nicer is this sweep entry here in the hopes that they would take this out. Now that hurt my heart because I did take this less optimal entry and then got my arse handed to me. But then when I came back, I was like, oh, look at that clean setup that showed up later for a nice, run up. Like barely any drawdown, much cleaner. It had the fair value gap attached to it. I like the bodies and not the wicks in there. And that would have been nice. And I remember looking at it going, rude. So rude. But anyway, so I'm vowing not to take these types of setups anymore. It has to be a nice, clean setup with at least a little bit of a fair value gap um, in an area of interest. And then I would probably wait to see if they like paused at the order block instead of just running directly through it, which I've seen them do. And then I would have put my order in. Sometimes I do that and then I miss the whole entry, which hurts my heart. I'm not gonna lie. Um, and that would have bothered me wholeheartedly. The other thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to recognize like the sweep, right? Like taking all of this now in the PM, what I should have been doing, and I think I grabbed a short at a point where they just wanted to keep continuing on. But what I should have done, 1 minute is complicated and confusing, but it's like the time frame that I use for an entry, right? So I have here, let me show you. So what I generally do on a regular basis is I have a 30-minute time frame that I use for, to keep my idea on the trend better, and then the 15 and the 5. So what I'm trying to do right now is adjust my setup and entries for the coming week because last week I was, following my plan, wait for a sweep, shift, take the entry. But I was doing a terrible job of listening to the trend, which was just up, up, up. And the funny thing is, and this is my last week's setup. Like the week before, I said to myself on Wednesday, I'm going to take the one setup and, which is sweep of liquidity, shift in structure, take my entry in the 1 minute, go. So because I was just when I look at my journal, it's a lot of B and C trades, and that's why I'm losing. So I'm trying to take my A plus setup only, period. So last week I was absolutely in sync with the trend. On Tuesday, I took, what was it, 245? Oh yeah, I took one trade and I moved my stops. That put me at a 245, but I just closed for the day. Wednesday, I took two trades. One lost in the morning following my setup because I made the thing on like the whole of August, and I know this was still July, but I'm like, I'm gonna start now. Because why would you just choose to do anything later? Just do it now. You want to lose weight? Start working out. Do it today. Just do it. Just do it. Anyway, so I did that. So I caught a nice short on Wednesday when it was just tanking. And so I had a 185 loss in the morning and 1190 win in the evening to help offset. But this last week, man, I just was not going with the trend. Oh, and another thing that really pissed me off is that on Friday, I had, again, a beautiful setup from my, and I just didn't put my entry in. And I missed out on another 1100, $1,200 trade because why? I didn't put my entry in. So that's why I'm trying to fight myself. I'm trying to fight myself and get over. It's like I'm allergic to winning or something. I don't really know why that would be a problem, but it's like I'm allergic to winning. So my entry has to be on the 1 minute, but I absolutely, positively look at the 30 minute, the 15, and the 5 to kind of like gauge what I was doing. But I just wasn't doing it last week. And I was actually trying to use my Thinkorswim on demand feature, which has a really nice feature where it actually paints the candles like they painted on the day because they have the information, but they're doing maintenance when I started the live using it, but it just died, I guess, because they're rebooting the systems and stuff. But yes, the 1 minute is absolutely very, very um distracting. But you're right, like this is much easier to read on the 30 minute. And honestly, to your point here, if you think about it, if I had adjusted this 30 minute fair value gap, very good point. If I'd thought about the 30-minute fair value gap, we have an order block and propulsion block. They did not bother to come down to any of that. Seeing the behavior here, what time was this? 6:30. Oh, this is in the morning. Time this. No, yeah. This is early in the morning. Nice. But seeing the behavior here, this is 3:30, 11:30, 10:39. So this is Wednesday. Honestly, as you can tell, I wanted to go long. I was bullish. Um, I was bullish at least on Tuesday for sure, but definitely doing some silliness on Wednesday of this week. I think I only took one trade. Let me check my journal for the 6th. PM short attempt, lots of liquidity swept, shift entered. Oh, I didn't take a loss on Wednesday. I took a short after they ran up and then they wanted to continue going up. I took it at what time did I take it? Oh, it was after 2. So I waited on Wednesday. I waited for, let's see. Oh, yeah, so right in here, actually. Let's see. Oh, wait, let's go back to the 15-minute because I need to put in my buy side right here. So I literally waited for all of that to get taken. Now, what's annoying, I think, is let me put this up so I can see if you're seeing anything. So what's annoying about this is I waited for that to get taken, and then I waited for a shift in structure. It's not the best shift, but I did wait for it. And then I got, it's not the cleanest shift, not gonna lie, it wasn't the cleanest shift, but I did take it. And I got tagged in, and I was hoping they would want to drop down to take these equal lows down here. So I was aiming for that. It's a lot, but I was looking to see if we could get somewhere close to that. And then I got tagged in and then it dropped nicely. And I moved my stop just a little bit into profit. And of course, they came back and tagged me out here. Because I was like, come on, just keep going. You can just drop. But they didn't. They wanted to continue. And technically, they gave me a second opportunity up here. Fair value gap here, but they didn't really go anywhere after that. But yeah, the question is, as they were pushing up, I hear Kitty's coming back. Oh, hey, Maddie, you've returned. What is your purpose in life? Just to walk across my lap for 2 seconds and then what? What's up, pretty girl? What are you thinking? Okay, so we just have a purring kitty just hanging out. No, no kitty on the table with the lappy tops. No kitty on the table with the lappy tops. Right, baby girl? Oh, you're such a little purr. Oh, you're a good girl. This is Maddie. She is just 4 months old, maybe 4.5 months old, something like that. Right, baby girl? Okay, she's a little purr machine. Anyway, let's move it back up. So the other thing that I should have considered. So what did we get in the morning? Because I've been watching this from 9:30 all the way up. It's mildly confusing, I'm not gonna lie. It was very confusing this day. Let's take this off because I think this is for some other day. It was mildly confusing. But once it started climbing, what did we get? Let's see if there's like a higher time frame. Like sometimes I like to see if there's a 5-minute fair value gap or something that could have helped with trading Wednesday. Or maybe even a 15-minute one. That would have been better. Let's see. That formed after the fact. That's something I really should pay attention to. Mm, 45, 10:45. Yeah, I didn't really have anything juicy except for this, which would be considered an inversion fair value gap. Big boy. Let's see if that could have helped us. And let's drop down to the 1 minute for, say, like a continuation sort of setup. Because this type of price action confuses me. I don't know about you. Like when it's just running around doing crazy stuff, it just confuses me. Look at me having to do back testing with a purring kitty in my arms. Isn't that funny? She's just purring and enjoying life. I don't know what to say. All right, so we have this big 15 minutes FEG that they've literally used. I mean, they've used and abused it at this point. Drop through it. Still nothing for me. Like all of this, I couldn't have done anything with. Maybe this fairway gap here, that order block, but yeah, I don't like it. I don't like anything until the short I took in the PM. And still wasn't like the best short. So price action that day wasn't like conducive to me at all. Let's dip back up to a higher time. Let's go to Tuesday. You're getting heavy. Can't believe I'm saying that. She's getting heavy, y'all. So here's where, from last week, I was catching the nice shorts. I should have started, once I saw this up close candle dip in, I should have started um, thinking and that we were continuing up to take the highs out because this is just coming to take liquidity out. A continuation down would have solidified a bearish, actual bearish trend. But we didn't get that. And I thought that in my head. But for some reason, I didn't take the trades that reflected that. It's very bad. Are you going to fall asleep like that? I don't know if I can keep this up forever, Maddie. Anyway, so that was Wednesday. Let's clean this up a bit. And let's dip over into Tuesday. So I did take one trade on Tuesday, one loss, a shift, of course. Let me see. What time did I take that? I waited for a sweep shift, set my order. Yeah. So that was at, I hate taking trades right at 11 o'clock, man, in the Eastern Standard. Like right when things are shifting over, it gets really, really hard from my perspective. All right, so that was a down sort of day. So what I normally do is, and I should have taken into account that they took that's what messed me up. I didn't take into account that they already taken the London highs out prior to the 9:30 open. So I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong that day. They took it out pre-market. Yeah. And then I had spec'd out some sell side right here. So I was waiting to see for them to sweep it. Not to mention it's right inside of a fair value gap right here. So my expectation was if I were to bring this together like so. So my thought process was still bullish, let them take that out, and then we can get a continuation back up to take the highs out, or at least dig into something this way. Are you done? Are you okay? Ready to go? Okay. Good, because my arm was going to sleep. Come on, man. Oh, she has decided to chill on the other laptop. Anyway, so let's see what we did get at that point in time. So we did get a nice we did get a shift, swept it, and then a shift up. So this week I took a grand total of let's see, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, three on Thursday, like an idiot, and one on Friday. What's that? Six? Six trades. I've found that less is more. If I'm being honest with you, less is more. My problem last week is I was not reading the trend properly, and I definitely wasn't listening to myself when I said, "Hey, it's bullish. Go look for sweeps to go long." And I didn't do that. I just kept blindly just looking for any sweep and going short. So yeah, six trades. It was crazy because by Thursday, I'd only taken two trades for the whole week. And I don't know, do you guys feel like the week just kind of started and ended like that? I feel like time just blew by and I just don't know what I did. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Anyway, so after the sweep, I took along here. The second tap was good on that. The breakout was an A plus. Oh yeah, from here, once it left it, it was definitely. And it's interesting because part of my continuation setup, like a good A plus continuation setup for me, is literally this. Like going with the trend, waiting for them to break through a fair value gap and like cleanly like they did here and hoping they want to come back and retest it. For real. That's definitely an A plus setup, yes. Going with the trend. Um Another decent setup for me. I know, right? I spent so much time waiting and waiting. And then I don't know, man. I on Thursday I took three trades in the AM, which is so unlike me. Normally, if I take one loss in the AM, I'll wait to the PM. And then the thing is that the two extra trades I took were after 11 o'clock, which is outside of my normal trading time frame, which is so crazy. I don't know. I'm a little sick. So energy's a little low for sure. It was weird. Monday I didn't trade because I had the biggest migraine I've had in a long time. Like I had to take off work. I slept like most of the day until the migraine went away. And then on Thursday, my throat started to itch, like it was itching. I was like, oh no. So I started this overdosing on vitamin C and echinacea and making a little tincture of essential oils and things that I usually take when I'm getting sick. So it hasn't taken hold because I've been like eating it. Maddie's like, what are you doing? He's just looking at me like, what? He's looking at baby girl. Thank you for the kisses, though. She's so sweet. She's the cutest thing. But yeah, last week was super choppy, and none of my setups worked because I was not using any of them for um with the trends. So um I have set up new rules for this week where A, the trade must be going with the trend. B, it has to be a sweep shift even if it's in an internal sweep and shift, like we see here. It's an internal sweep of all of this, and then we had a shift here. So technically, my entry would have been like at that body right there. Maddie, why do you need to get my entry would have been at the body, but then at the same time, we have all of this order block to work with. I just would have wanted my entry to be, above or close to the top. So I wouldn't have gotten tapped in on that one. So I don't know. 3/4 of the order block would be good. That would have been a good setup. Sometimes I wonder if Thinkorswim had the 30 seconds for an entry, because I don't know. Did we have something juicy here? Which is this, a 9:45? They took the London highs already over here, and then they dug in and swept this internal high, and then they shifted. I should have felt comfortable going short here. Still technically my model, right? But this isn't a shift yet, so I didn't feel comfortable taking that. And then I would have just, ran it into see if they wanted to midpoint. I try and go midpoint because I know I'm guaranteed at least the midpoint and call that a day. But yeah, for a continuation trade, like after 10 o'clock, they're obviously still continuing down. Once they busted through the midpoint of this, left an order block here, this would have also been a viable entry as well at the order block. And then, whatever they could do. The week coming up, my bias for the coming week is still very bullish. So this is my week of last week's terrible trading. I don't know if you already saw that, but um, and then this was the Wednesday when I was like, I'm just gonna take my thing and my setup, my A plus setup, and it paid me. It paid me well. So I'm just trying to stay on top of that. But my week, what's going on here? Oh, let's make this tiny. Oh, the previous week's bias? Oh, I don't know why my brain was still short. It was. But here's the stupid thing, right? My previous week's bias was short. Let me move this out of the way. And let's drop that. We don't need that anymore. So my previous, I don't know why. So let's look at the daily. And this is what I was thinking, right? I was thinking in my head that as we were dropping last week, it's okay for them to run up here. If they dropped and took this low out, then we have a confirmation that the trend has shifted bearish and will continue on down. So I don't know if my brain just was short circuiting, because here on Tuesday when we started dropping, I was like, okay, maybe we'll continue down, whatever. So I was still thinking bearish. It's probably why I didn't take anything much this week while I was waiting to see up until Thursday when I just like 3 trades is technically going on tilt for me. It technically is, because I don't take more than 3 trades. But yeah, my bias was I was waiting to see if we're going to continue bearish. So my brain was just locked on bearish. And I knew on Wednesday, once we rolled up, that we're continuing upwards. But for some reason, I just kept. Okay, how about the weekly? Isn't that a weekly discount order block? Let's see. No. I mean, we're forming an order block right now on the weekly. This cat. We're forming an order block now on the weekly. But we haven't shifted at all bearish. So there's plenty of room in the no man's land up here for it to go. When it's like this though, what I do is once it's shifted properly above here, I'm just gonna use the Fibonacci and like spec out 2 standard, everything up to the 2 standard deviations for targets as they're pushing up, because they're not stopping for the moment. They're just going up. And let's be honest, right? Like NQ hasn't really ever been bearish. It's just been corrections and then continuations up. So this thing is just gonna continue. What's fascinating and what I should have paid attention, I mean that what we traded into the terminus of that bullish movement for last week. Don't know if that makes sense. Okay, let me see. So I'm not sure if I'm understanding what you're saying because this week, okay, so you're saying, because personally, if we were just gonna run back down from a week's perspective, they did dip into this down close candle, but they do pass more than three-quarter of it for me to feel comfortable. I would have preferred if they dipped into here lower and tapped this propulsion block personally, or at least stayed, midpoint of this fair value gap and then ran up. But the terminus of the bullish movement for last week, I personally, the terminus of the bullish movement, I was thinking about the midpoint of the daily wick would be a good place for it to end last week. So from my perspective, I was taking a look like, even though I was trading this terribly, I had this specked out in my thinkorswim. I had the 50% of this wick as like any target, any bullish target for me personally. Because I didn't think they necessarily need to take the highs out last week. I mean, they will eventually, but my thoughts were that at minimum, they were going to roll up into the 50%. They got real close. They didn't quite make it there, but they were going there for sure. So, as targets coming into next week, from my perspective, I'm going to be looking for something like this. So I'm going to use this low right here, and we just busted through this high. And from my perspective, I'm going to be looking for these guys as long targets coming up, just base from that low to them breaking into past that high to go up here. So 24,739 approximately is what I'm looking for. I find that they tend to like pause at each one of these, use them as like, I don't necessarily want to say support resistance or anything like that because I don't really use those, but and don't get me wrong, there's literally nothing wrong with support and resistance, but it's just like areas that they tend to like hang out in, along with of course the zeros, 23,000, 24,000, 500, 300, whatever, that sort of thing. But, that's like one potential. Then, if you want to get real extra with it, then 24, 4, 24, 25, 4, 24, using the lows that they created. And they broke these highs. I would expect some sort of retracement potentially to give people a chance to get back in. But let's be honest, man, we've seen them run away with it without giving us anything unless you just YOLO into it, which sucks. Was that what you meant? Because yeah, that's the midpoint of this week was the terminus that I was thinking about for bullish movement. But coming into this week with this super bullish movement, I'm expecting, with any luck, I'm hoping they give us a little bit of a drawback. We do have a fair value gap here on the daily that they could potentially roll back into. But let's be honest, right? Given this particular move here, we might just get a nice continuation to take this out before they choose to come back down a little bit to either dip into the opening range, depending on how big it is, that range, and then a run up. Because this propulsion block on the daily, it's just gone. So yeah, so those are some of the targets. Once my thinkorswim is no longer like in maintenance, then I'm gonna go in there and like prep my levels for the week for sure. But yeah, like this live stream is just me going through my week's failures and figuring out what I did wrong so I can make adjustments. So far, what I have figured out is I've made adjustments to my rules for August, and let me share that with you guys. So, I think for some reason I was just blindly taking trades last week because part of my problem is the simple fact that I just wait and I wait and I wait. Have you run into this issue where you wait forever for the trade setup to show itself and then you just don't take it? And then you watch it do exactly what you think it's going to do and you miss out on that good entry and setup. Because that happens to me a lot. you know. And part of the reason it's one of the main reasons why I'm still not profitable because I'll wait all day for my setup to show up and then when it does, I just hesitate. Then I miss it. Then I don't take like then I don't trust secondary entries. So I'm doing these lives literally every week, back testing, reviewing, trying to understand what my problem is so I can get past myself because I'm the problem. It's not any weirdness about taking silly trades or whatever. The problem is I just refuse to take the trades when I see them. So win or lose, and I'm proud of myself this week, is I took the trades that I waited for, whether or not they were good or not. And that's okay. I'm okay with that because I know that in the long run, taking your perceived A plus setup when you see them will still be net positive. Because I mean, oh, it is a model approach, right? It's very simple. My setups always form, and I'll give you an example. Oh, so my rules. So I originally said my rules for August was going to be, I'm just going to take, they need to sweep liquidity. So this is my model. You need to sweep liquidity. There must be a shift in structure, and I need to enter the trade. I'm trying to keep it simple because I find that the more that I complicate things is the more I don't take the trade or I like manufacture setup in my head. So keep it simple. What did they say? Keep it simple, stupid. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep it simple. So my setup is very simple. Is wait for a sweep of liquidity, then wait for a market structure shift, and then enter the trade. And then the one thing I need to remind myself, and this is what messed me up last week, go with the trend. And then internal sweep entries are also viable and valid, especially if they've already taken like a major liquidity above that. Because those then they no longer need to go back up and take that, right? Especially if the trend, if that sweep is following with the trend, then taking the internal shift with a sweep words hard, then taking the internal liquidity and then a shift in structure, then entering that trade is also viable. Something that as I'm finding like spending more time in the market and just watching and learning and tracking movements, especially around my entries, it's helping me to see setups easier. Sometimes because I'm trying to fight that hesitation to take the entry, I also sometimes later, hey, Coach Carter, how's it going? You having a good weekend? Um, I sometimes might be too quick to take the entry, one, or, my original issue, which is where I'm too slow, or I hesitate. So I'm trying to push past the hesitation, just take it. So let me show you a sample of my normal thing. Oh, and then I've also added the continuation trade, which is still a sweep of liquidity, but the second stage entry after it's confirmed that it's continuing to go in whatever direction, up or down, that after the sweep. So I'm allowing myself to take the continuation trade, but it has to be like at a fair value gap where it's showing that it's not, it's respecting that fair value gap, the midpoint of it. So something like that. So let me show you a sample of each of those. So those are my rules for August. So far, I've been doing the first portion of the rule, and I just added the second portion because I've been missing out on good continuation trades that still fall within the A plus setup of my rules. Anyway, so like I show you an example of the continuation trade from Friday. So let's Yeah, let's go to the 1 minute mat. Well, let's not use that, this window. Let's use the one we've been using for back testing. Yeah, it is. I don't know why. It's been telling me that the bit rate's pretty crap, and I'm trying to figure out what in the heck. Like at one point, it was so bad that it was just like just not coming in. I was tempted to end the stream but I need to do this back testing. I was trying to do it on Thinkorswim, but then that died. I don't know, I think maybe because of because they were doing some maintenance on it. They told me when I logged into it. So let's look at Friday real quickly, just to go through like a sample of my normal model. So I was looking for them to take out the London session lows, and technically they sort of did already. Because we had like, was this 3? There's one here at 2 o'clock. They didn't take it. But I was really hoping they would take out the full complement. Sorry, not that one. The full complement of the London low. They didn't, which threw me off because I was looking for a long, which is right. I was looking for a long on Friday. I was looking for a long. And so when they didn't take that out and then they just sort of ran away, my next thought was, okay, do we have, I saw them like just hanging about in this fair value gap and that order block. So I was also thinking, a long from here wouldn't be bad because I was expecting them to go up to 670. Because there's a high here at 670 that I was expecting them to take out. And I have these 9:30 calls every single morning now that run until 10. And so even though I was looking at it, I was like back and forth talking, so I couldn't take it. But this is an example of like a continuation trade that I'd be interested in taking as like a bit of an A plus setup, right? Because we've already shown that we want to go up. We've ignored all of the order blocks, fair value gaps, all of it up until here. So then that's like the next potential entry that I saw that would be good. So at least, and again, it needs to, for it to work, the liquidity must still exist. They can't have taken it. They must still be reaching for it. That's as a continuation. In terms of like my model, for the sweep, and I did take this, they'd swept a bunch of liquidity over here. I mean, come on. Swept a bunch of liquidity over here. They swept this very shallowly, and sometimes the shallow sweeps, they don't make me feel comfortable, honestly. They don't. But they did sweep it here. And then there was a shift on the 1 minute that was pretty clear. So I took this here. Well, actually here. And then of course, I got stopped out. But that's the general gist of it. Now, Friday was a very, very bullish day, like super bullish. So instead of trying to go short, I should have been looking for reasons to go long, honestly. That's what I should have been doing. But my other concern at this point is, if they've been running up for a while, sometimes they like to just chop sideways for a bit, and then maybe they might move again, either like late into lunch or, in the PM session. Sometimes not until like late in the PM session, like 3:45, which hurts my heart. No, let me show you like a textbook version of my setup from last week. I think it was Wednesday when I got a nice juicy, was it Wednesday or Thursday? Let's dig back and see. Let me look at my journal just to make sure I show you the exact example. Because that was a nice trade. And I caught a nice juicy drop from that one. And and I'll show you a PM version and a, let's see here. Where was it? Nice juicy drop, man. Nice juicy drop. So that was taken right 2:45 on what day was this? 7:30, the Wednesday. So that's Thursday, so this Wednesday. So let's go forward one more day. And let's do a little cleanup. Yeah, let's do the 15-minute. Yeah, so I caught a nice juicy piece of this following the shift and sweep and all that good stuff. So it's at 2 o'clock. We had all of this juiciness that they took out. There was not like a nice one here, but they did sweep a lot of liquidity. So there's either this guy. I would have been looking at this to see what they did once they took that out, and then any fair value gaps that they might dig into above here. So prime example of my setup after they took out some liquidity, I was waiting for a decent shift. And on top of that, I was looking at this fair value gap as well. So when they came back up after this nice looking shift, also I like that they hadn't taken this low out here. So I was thinking they probably won't come back up here because of this big wick, was what I was thinking. And then, so I was thinking, okay, so maybe I should take it here. But unfortunately, I'm like the kind of trader that is super cautious, like super cautious. So sometimes I'm trying to get past this, but sometimes I'm looking to see if they're going to like disprove me first. So what I did was, as they were coming back up, I didn't set my entry here. No, because I don't trust myself, obviously. So then they chopped around in here, respecting it with the wicks, which is great. So 1, 2, I should have set it there, but I didn't. I did set it here. And as luck would have it, they chose to tag me in and then drop precipitously after that. So it's this type of like, okay, we've taken liquidity. I like to see them shift above it, you know, for a better like shift. Then they did a change in state here, and it was a nice drop. I like to see this because there's no fair value gap for them to come back into, and then I want to see if they want to respect it, and then I took that. So that's like a nice A plus setup for me, honestly. And if I had been quicker on the uptake, I would have put it at the base where I should have, and then I would have gotten a little bit more out of that. But it was still a nice 1190 trade for me. So very happy with it. So I moved my stop somewhere around here and it got stopped out. And of course they were willing to go down a way more that day. So I can only trade one contract, one mini for the moment. So I'll take what I can get and call it a day. Because I was technically looking for them to take these lows out. So if I just let the trade play out, then everything would have worked out. But that's all right. But that's my model. Like I'm waiting for liquidity to be taken. There must be some sort of shift. And at this point, I was still very bearish. I was bearish in my head. So I wanted a short. And sometimes when I see Honestly, it'd be nice to just talk to folks about different trades and what you're looking for. Because sometimes, like just thinking through what's happening, just having um, someone to just bounce ideas off would also be nice. I know it's a bit of a lonely game trading, but yeah. So, I mean, full disclosure, I am not profitable. Okay. I've been trading for 1 year and 8 months, and I am not profitable. I've only been green or in the black twice this year. Once in, I think, February, and then once again in May when I was up 755, right? And I can't tell you how good that feeling is. I'm constantly digging myself out of drawdown, constantly. And I, I personally think this is like my break even stage, but at the moment, I'm just fighting with my own personal issues, in my head. Just trying to get past them because the only reason why I'm not profitable is me. The setup works, the model works. Just trying to figure out how to keep it simple. Just trying to figure out how to keep it simple. So I do these backtesting videos once a week where I just sit back and think through everything that I did wrong. What could I have learned from, um, what could I have done better in this scenario? Like, was there something that could have made the week easier for me? And what I've learned from just thinking through everything is that didn't, I wasn't flexible with my bias. I said to myself, okay, we're dropping. I want to see a second stage shift here to confirm that we're in a downtrend. And then if we're in a downtrend, where are they going? You know, like I'm thinking, you want to be digging into this. I don't need the whole move. I just need a nice piece of the move, you know? I mean, let me see here. So I don't have, I am on Discord, like joining other people's. Actually, if I'm being completely honest, like I really don't spend a ton of time talking to people about trading, but I'd be open to chatting over Discord or Telegram, honestly. So I learned most everything from like ICT, right? And let me tell you, I literally started off with, I actually paid somebody. So like for the sweeps, I'm usually looking for a higher time frame sweep. So 15 minutes highs and lows is what I'm waiting for usually. Um, or what I'm usually targeting for the sweeps. Part of the part of the reason that I think the model works is if I'm waiting for, let's say I'm bullish, right? My initial thought is I want to see the London low or the Asia low get taken, and then a shift to move back further up, to move back up to take like another 15-minute high that's above, or even just dig into a fair value gap that's up there. Like that's what I want. So like on Friday, that's what I was waiting for long, but didn't get that. And no joke, I'm trying to train myself. I know, like, I don't know if you guys have heard of the whole Pavlov's dogs thing, right? Um, where they were training the dogs to do certain actions, I think by shocking them. I'm not doing that, but literally, I'm just trying to spend my entire time looking for my setup and entering because that's the part that I miss. I know intel. It hurts my heart every time. Like it really, really does. Like it really pisses me off. Cause like I got that nice trade on Wednesday and then Friday, let me show you. I was like so disappointed in myself. I can't begin to tell you. I was so disappointed. So like on the Friday, let me look at my notes here because a similar scenario occurred. This is a Friday. A similar scenario occurred, and I was waiting for them to take this low out. 50 minutes, sell side liquidity taken. And I honestly was just hoping for them to run up into this fair value gap halfway. So, what irritated me most about this moment is the fact that I saw it, zoom in deep. I saw it, and I was like, huh, that'd be a great place for an entry. And I tell you where I wanted the entry. I wanted it right there. I wanted it right in. I don't know if you see that little break. These are my favorites, by the way. My favorite types of entries. When we've got a shift, sweep, propulsion block, nice little volume. I mean, the stars aligned. Okay? The stars aligned. And my stop would have taken in most of the propulsion block, and that would have felt I would have felt more comfortable. And I would have been perfectly happy just taking the highs out. Look at that. And that's a trade I waited all day for on Friday and didn't take it. Saw it, waited, didn't take it. So I always wait for a 15-minute sweep to occur, then a shift, which we had a nice one of here. A nice looking shift. Even this guy. Nice close. Nice volume imbalance. And then voila. And honestly, like midpoint of fair value gaps is what I always love to go for. Look at this juicy trade, man. That hurt my heart so much. I think in the live last week, I was just going on and on about it. I was like, I cannot believe I did that to myself. And I did. I did it to myself. Missed it. So I'm trying to just get past this. Anyway, um, I don't know. Yeah, I know, but it was just perfect. It was a perfect setup for me. And I looked at it and I thought it and I didn't set the order. And that is is why I'm trying so hard to just put the order in no matter what. Just put it in no matter what. It's probably why I was like that last week and I didn't even think about the trend. I just wanted to teach myself, put the order in, put the order in, put the order in, because I miss things like that, like a lot, a lot. So this is just me trying to get past that. Honestly, it really is. But anyway, also, this is the one time where the sweep, I'm okay with a single sweep because of the closure of this candle. Because at that point, now I'm expecting them to not take it again. Because they did dip through it quite nicely. It's just when they like wick it a little bit that really hurts my heart. And I'm like, do I take it? Maybe I wait for them to take it again. You know, that type of thing. Anyway, so I'm on Telegram. If you feel comfortable dropping your Telegram here and I'll like find you, then, we can talk about trading on Telegram. That'd be fine. Um, I used to be on a Discord where we could share stuff. I mean, I could create one if you guys want to do that. Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me take a screenshot. Let me take a quick screenshot. Okay. All right. And I will add you on Discord now, and then we can, not Discord, on Telegram. And so that leaf. Okay. Let me look at my picture. Lefi. Okay. Okay, I just sent you a message. Hi there. um, okay. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is I don't really have like a ton of time during the days. I try to block off 10 to 11 Eastern and 2 to 3 Eastern to trade. So those would be like literally the only times I'd ever be able to even be on a Discord. But I can do a Telegram channel and we could share thoughts and things there. So yeah, I just sent you a message, Rainer. Hi guys. I'm I think I need to go lay down and sleep off the rest of this silliness. But my thoughts for this week, I'm very bullish until they tell me otherwise. And I am looking to see if we can reach, we've taken these highs out. Oops. So these are going to be my levels that I'm going to be looking for this week. And honestly, I'm going to see if there's any overlaps in these levels. So we got the low, the high, and then we have this low here, not high. So anything that kind of partially overlaps for the standard deviations, I'm going to be going for. But I think this low, that high, that's what I'm going to be looking for altogether. So I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm hoping that I don't. Cool, cool, cool. So I can also create like a Telegram channel, coach, if you have Telegram and want to join that. I don't have Discord either, really. So I'm really I think I wait, did I add it? I added Discord so I could get a copy of the trading journal for Lynn's official Lynn's because she created a really nice trading journal that I'm using to track since I can't do prop firms or anything like that. So all right, so I will be hopefully not feeling like a crazy person or sick as hell tomorrow. And hopefully next week my Thinkorswim is not in maintenance and they reboot it so I can't use it for testing. I like the feature on there versus TradingView because then you can actually like watch the candles paint in real time. So that's pretty nice. All right, so for now, I'm going to call it. Please, please, please enjoy the rest of your Sunday and hopefully we have a better week of trading. I like the bullish nature of things, so let's see if we can continue that. Trending markets are best for me. I'm not good in the chop. I try my best to stay out of them. I usually do really well with that, but sometimes I get caught, and that's all right. So, Coach Carter, if let me know in the comments if you want to do like a Telegram as well. I can create like a little Telegram thing between Rainer and yourself, and we can just talk trading and trade ideas and thoughts during the week. Since I don't really go live during the week at all, I'm working. I don't have time for that. Maybe one day when I've gotten to a point where I'm like actually properly profitable and I can make this one of my main streams of income, then I'll do that. But for now, on the weekends is the best I can do. All right. You guys have an awesome Sunday. Talk to you next week, and I guess talk to you on Telegram, Rainer. Coach, have a good week. Y'all be good now. Shakira out.